Thanks for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I release a Legacy video every Friday. Hello everyone, Martin here, back with another Legacy video. Today I am playing BUG Doomsday and I am trying out a couple of copies of Mistrise Village in the sideboard. I don't have extremely high hopes for this card in Doomsday, but I don't think it's something that should either just be completely dismissed. Um, you need to be either a Grixis or a Bug build for this to make sense, I think. And I do from time to time think maybe Grixis is worth revisiting at some point. Who knows? It was the third color of choice back in like 2020 or something. Back when I made a deep run in Eternal Weekend in 2021, maybe I was playing Grixis Delver. Not Grixis Delver, sorry, Grixis Doomsday. Um, but I think the utility of Pyroblast for us is somewhat limited currently, and I think that kind of sets the course somewhat. But anyways, has proven to be a pretty good splash color though, and so I am trying Mistrise Village in the sideboard. I don't think we can afford to play this in the main deck. Tap lands being tap lands, and also like I think we want this versus counter spells, but specifically versus like slower counterspell decks, or maybe like blue combo mirrors, like show and tell and whatever. And there's just I think there are too many matchups where we don't want or can't really utilize this effect. Um, so other than that, the format has changed since last I played this list, sort of dedicated in a dedicated sense, with the bannings of Mycospawn and the Troll. And so what has happened is Eldrazi has taken a step back in popularity, and what has taken up that space seems to be White Initiative or Boros Initiative. And so, like, we're now having to play against that deck again with like Archon of Emeria and Anointed Peacekeeper and stuff like that. So I thought it might be prudent to try out Subtlety again because the Initiative deck cares relatively little about anything other than the card Force of Will in terms of being disrupted. And with 4 Cavern of Souls, they don't even really care that much about Force of Will. The one slot I'm currently unsure about is Consigned to Memory. I don't know if that even needs to be there, but I've decided to keep it to be able to have sort of a trans uh, trans archetype utility card that can just do work against most combo decks, against like artifact decks and whatnot. I've gone down to 3 total Veil of Summer. I think 4 might be too many on most days, but especially when you also have the Mistrise Village, they kind of overlap in weird ways that isn't that necessarily that great. But yeah, I think that's it. So let's jump into a league. Okay, we're on the draw for round number 1, and we get a medium hand. I'm gonna keep this. Gonna be sad if opponent opens on Chalice of the Void or turn 1 kill you, but other than that, I think we're sort of okay. Oof, Thoughtseize is kind of brutal here, taking the one card that was tying the room together, the Brainstorm. Oh, gross. Okay, well, let's let's see what. Ooh, ooh, yes. Okay. I guess I will play the Misty Rainforest here and pass. And then depending on what happens, maybe we'll fetch Undercity Sewers, maybe we'll like Brainstorm emergency like if we need to. Okay. So well, we're up against some kind of Dimir, it would appear, sort of mirror deck. So with the Bloodstained Mire could indicate they're on Grixis. Could just be that they are straight Dimir with basic Swamp. They choose not to shuffle here, okay. Could be Reanimator, could be Dimir Tempo, could be Doomsday. Could be something else entirely. Let's get our Undercity Sewers and get rid of a fetch land. Ponder. I think so here I could try and lure out a Daze, but I think I would actually rather have the Ponder than have them not have Daze in their hand and be set back a land. Yeah, these are all fine cards. I think I'm gonna draw the Force of Will, and then I'm gonna pass and probably draw Personal Tutor next turn. Another Undercity Sewers. Okay, I think that means, oh, this is Reanimator. Tamio. Okay, so I think I might be interested in just like casting Doomsday now at the cost of a land drop. Um, yeah, I think I will do that. They could have double force here, and then we can't. But this lets us play around Daze, and I think it's just worth it not giving them an extra turn to develop and do stuff. Okay, let's cast the Stark Ritual. If we had one more mana, we could go off without them being able to daze us here. But okay, then never mind, because they have Force of Will. Okay, please don't have a second Force. Okay, they didn't. So Orcish Bowmasters slash like Entomb Reanimate are, I think, our biggest concerns right now. And it's pretty clear they don't have another Force of Will. So do we want Cavern of Souls, or do we want instead a land that we can fetch with the Verdant Catacombs? Let me just see. We have two lands in play. So obviously if they have Wasteland and then a Daze, then that plan gets kind of bad. We could also like have a plan that includes Jace. Oh, I don't think so. I think honestly I am just going to try and empty the pile and not worry about them finding another Force of Will. They can't regrow it with Samio even if they could like flip her. Alright, let's go. Oh no. Atraxa. Fuck. Okay. Well, let's see if they also have the animation spell. Okay. They draw on during combat for some reason. Okay. They did not animate Atraxa. They did draw another card. Okay. Well, if they found another force, or if their hand is like two dazes. Oh, or is it Stifle? Ah, it's Bowmasters. Okay, how does that leave us here? We go to 7, then we go to 6 with Edge. We go to 3 with Second Edge, and then we go to. Wait, is that right? So let's see. I'm at 8. Bowmaster pings me down to 7. Then I draw with Edge. I go to 6. Then I draw Street Wraith. I pay 2 life. Go to 4. Draw. Bowmaster pings me. I go to 3. I draw another Edge. Edge pings me down to 2 life, and then I fetch down to 1. Yeah, so that's fine. If I even do need to fetch. Guess I should just auto yield to this. Alright. And I don't need to fetch here unless they have Daze as their last card, which they might have. Okay, but they didn't. Alright, sweet. So this is just Dimir Tempo. This is probably one of the scarier matchups here. We want the Carpets and Veil of Summer. And then I think maybe we want Flusterstorm. And then I'm unsure about the Mistrise Village because they are a Wasteland deck, you'd assume. But they're also an Entomb Reanimate deck. Maybe I do want all of this. So what don't I want? I think I don't want the Force of Will. There's still a lot to trim down here then. Maybe we can like cut 1 or 2 Personal Tutor. Maybe I just want 1 Mistrise Village. I don't think it really is for this matchup mostly. I'll cut a Street Wraith and a Preordain, I think. Alright, let's try this. Okay, I'll keep this. It kind of sucks versus Orcish Bowmasters, but hey, we'll see if they have that card. They're down to 5 cards. Wow, okay. like five, a good 5 card hand out of a Dimir Tempo deck can easily beat uh, this deck. So, and especially like turn on Tameo is kind of scary. Okay, drawing another land is good. I kind of want to see. I would love to see Carpet of Flowers here. I guess I won't pass up on Doomsday. And they thought seizes. Okay, this probably takes Veil of Summer, I would assume. Veil of Summer is one of the ways we get to just ignore Orcish Bowmasters on the combo turn. Okay, we draw the Doomsday. I'm gonna cast Brainstorm here. Okay. So let's get rid of the Consider and maybe it's the Cavern of Souls, and we'll pass. If they thought seize me again, I will rather I will Brainstorm and hope they don't have a Daze. So far, this Tameo has not done anything, but they can start drawing cards here. I wonder if they have Bowmasters. They do. Yeah, yeah. Congratulations, you have an Orcish Bowmasters. Okay, I'm gonna get Undercity Sewers. Would like to find Veil of Summer. Don't want another Doomsday. Dark Ritual or Veil of Summer here would be great. Dark Ritual, okay. Let's see. I Doomsday down to 8, then I need to draw 5 cards. Right? Let's see. 3 with the Brainstorm, 4 with Cycler, 5 with Consider. I think so. I mean, if their last 2 cards are Force of Will and blue card, then they get to win, I guess. But they do appear to be of 6th. Oh, did I miss a Cycler? So that would mean 6 damage, but that's still fine. So Brainstorm, yep. They did mulligan to 5, so that is a bit rough. They put up a good fight here. So put back. We could also try and win with Jace, but I think that plays into Daze here, so I'm not going to do that. Put back Jace and Consider. Always yield. Sack a land. Crack LED. Go down to 4. Okay, never mind. They concede. All right, sweet. Off to winning start against one of the, less pleasant matchups in the format. Let's go. Okay, on the draw once more for round number 2. I get an okay hand again, kind of mid. I'll keep. Another blue matchup, it would appear. No, Savannah. For Dried Arbor. Holy Maloney. Okay, so but that Misty Rainforest does kind of make me wonder if they're on a blue splash. Alright, I'm gonna Thoughtseize here. Kind of hoping not to see Wasteland. No Wasteland. Endurance, Collector, Oofiloof, and Mother of Rune's Scythe Cat Cub. They actually have 2 very relevant cards for us here. With the mana being what it is right now, they can't cast Collector Roof next turn, and we might not care that much about Collector Roof. But if they just top deck any land, they can cast Collector Roof. I think I still take the Endurance. Oh, what am I saying? They can cast Collector Roof next turn. They have the Dried Arbor. Okay. So the question then becomes, do I Force of Will Collector Roof? And they drew a Savannah. I think I do force this bad boy. Because like right now, if I draw Doomsday, I just get to win. But it requires... yeah, it requires artifacts. Well, that didn't happen. So let's pass. This cat is going to be a problem pretty quickly, I think. And they had a Wasteland. Okay. Interesting. They identified that I am a combo deck. Or they wouldn't be put like turning Mother of Ruin sideways. Okay. Undersea Sewers. Come on, Doomsday. Doomsday. I'll take a cantrip. Not another land, please. Okay. And they Wasteland me here. I'm not going to cycle the Edge, because I think Edge is crucial for me to win on the same turn. Of course, I draw another edge. Lovely. Okay. So this is probably my final turn to, like, to not lose. I can't. I haven't done the Scythe Cat Cup math too often before, so I'm not sure if I even just like die right now. Let's see. This should double, right? Okay, so this is a 5/5. They have 8 power. Okay. I do kind of desperately need. Do I fetch the thin here? I guess I do. 3. Okay, please. Okay, I have to cycle this and just pray. Well, that's not it. GG's. I guess I can Thoughtseize them, just see the last card in their hand. I don't know about that one. It's another Lush Portico. Wait, did I know about that? Yeah, they fetched this one out. Yeah, never mind. Okay. Well, disappointing. I just got aggroed out. And we showed them the Edge of Autumn, so they know what kind of flavor of combo we are. I didn't see black mana. I wonder, like, they probably will have something like Choke. I think we can board out the Veil of Summer and maybe the Duress. And I'll board in like a catch-all removal spell and Abrupt Decay and a Flusterstorm that can catch a Green Sun Zenith or Crop Rotation or something if they're on that kind of thing. Alright, yeah, let's keep this. I think I just polluted Delta Go here. So what do they have? Turn 1 Noble Hierarch. I wonder if, are they like a Nadu deck? Is that a thing? Come on. Get rid of the land. I'll catch Consider. I'll put Force of Will in the graveyard and draw Dark Ritual. Yep. Deck not, like, plan not coming together here. Wasteland. This time I will cycle Edge. Disruptor Flute. Oh, okay. We can Abrupt Decay that. Let's cycle this. They're wastelanding us. Another Dark Ritual. Amazing. Phooey. Okay. I think we need our deck to deliver here. Collect Roof. That's annoying, but I'll accept it. And I am going to Abrupt Decay this end of turn in the hopes that I find Doomsday on this next turn. Ponder might do it. No. Let's shuffle. Another Ponder. Is this even going to be fast enough? Okay, I'm going to take the Brainstorm here in order to be able to Force of Will. And then I need to fade like Wasteland for a couple of turns and also not be dead. Yeah, that's also going to be a proposal I can't accept. I do kind of expect to lose here. I'll be at 12. I don't think I can play around endurance. Like, any addition to the clock they add this turn is going to be a big problem. And Wasteland is a problem. They surveil a Verdant Catacombs into the graveyard. Understandably so. And that gets to Wasteland me. Yeah, GG's. Ramming up Excavator for the win. Yeah, they found all the squeeze points, and my deck, like, we're on turn 5. And I was on the play, so it would be my turn 6. And that's just like, you're not going to win these kinds of matchups, most likely, if you spin your wheels for that long. Okay, once more on the draw here, but we do have a turn 1 win if we aren't playing against someone that can disrupt us. So that's kind of interesting. I'm going to keep Basic Swamp. So we could take a turn off casting Thoughtseize, but I don't think I want to. Or do I? No. No. I think this is the life we signed up for. Let's cast Doomsday. If they have Force of Will, then it's unfortunate. We're just going to go for the win, so we need Brainstorm and Lineside Diamond and Consider and Thassa's Oracle and a Street Wraith. The second cycler can't be another Edge of Autumn because we only have one land and we have Edge already. Very, 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 very slight potential for an optimization in play here would be to not have played out the Lotus Petal. Because if this is a person who has Force of Will in their hand and knows Doomsday intimately, they might infer with the Lotus Petal that we're aiming to go for the win same turn and might take the gamble that they can actually just end the game by forcing Thassa's Oracle. If I hadn't played out the Petal, I think it's more reasonable for them to then assume, well, it's going to be a passive turn and it's going to involve Cavern of Souls, so I'm just dead if I don't force. And we would rather have Doomsday forced than actually lose the game. But I don't think that's actually something that's going to come up very often. All right. Let's get this show on the road. I think, unless I see something else, I'm just going to assume that this is Reanimator of some kind. That was going to go end of turn Entomb. I suppose if that were the case, they would be better off casting the Entomb on my upkeep rather than giving me a draw step to draw an additional Force of Will. Okay. They didn't have Force of Will. Veil of Summer seems like a thing we probably want. And Flusterstorm and Grafdigger's Cage. I'm going to bring in these 5 cards. And I will shave 2 copies of Personal Tutor and a Lotus Petal and a Preordain. How many blue cards? 19, 20. That's still fine. I guess I'll shave a Street Wraith as well. So we're kind of sideboarding a little bit in the dark, but well, we'll see. I suppose if it is Reanimator, I should have also boarded in the Forces of Negation. So maybe that was me just hedging there. I'm going to keep this hand and lose to any like turn 1 combo shenanigans, but oh, okay. So maybe it's not Reanimator at all, or what? Duress. Guess you take. Most Duress decks aren't really happy to be playing against Veil of Summer, so I'm kind of guessing that that's what they're going to take. Okay, so maybe not Reanimator, but then, I don't know, like Storm combo or something, like Saga Storm, I don't know. They're bobbling me instantly. I hope they saw a discard spell. They didn't. Okay. Well, I think my play here is just to cast Brains or Ponder. I wonder if I'm supposed to be fetching around Wasteland? I don't think so, but you never know. This could also be some kind of mono black Joker deck. Okay, I'm gonna take the fetch land and then I'm gonna draw Grafdigger's Cage. Oh, maybe I should have just gotten the cage now and cashed in on the Petal. I don't know. Hoping this days holds up. Also, it's not a given that okay, they have Thoughtseize. It's not a given that Grafdigger's Cage even really does anything here. Excuse me. Okay, they take my Dark Ritual. Interesting. It makes me think like they feel like they have the days beat. Another Swamp. Nethergoyf. I am actually going to daze this. So, and then I'm going to play Grafdigger's Cage next turn. And turn after that, there's a Jace. Do I want Jace? Probably not. So let's actually get Bayou. Play Cage. I'll play Petal as well. Boggard Bog. Okay, another Nethergoyf. Fair enough. And Thoughtseize. I would assume you take Edge of Autumn here? Yeah. How about a Doomsday? I think I want to fetch Undercity Sewers here rather than hide the information of what I drew. So this is just some kind of mono black sort of creature hate deck. They probably have Bowmasters. They probably have Barrowgoyf. They might have Opposition Agent. I don't know. Okay, I'm gonna take Brainstorm and play into any potential Orcish Bowmasters. So let's put back Thoughtseize and Thassa's Oracle. Let's just see here. I'll Doomsday down to 6, and I'll take 4 damage from this. Okay. So any flash threat they have beats me here. Assuming it can deal 1 or 2 damage rather. If they can find some way to grow their Nethergorth, that's also pretty good. Okay, and I think I'm actually going to try and win with Jace here. We have to assume they don't have Bowmasters, so drawing cards is not going to be a problem. Okay, so we probably want Thassa's Oracle just in case. Maybe a Consider and a Cycler. Maybe another Cycler. We can't beat Bowmasters because Bowmasters, if they draw it, they're gonna ping us down to 1, and then we can't win without drawing at least 1 extra card next turn. So do we even want Consider here? Let's say I draw the Edge, I cycle Edge, draw, and play Jace, put Consider and Thassa in the graveyard, and draw another Edge. That's probably fine. So Edge on the bottom and Edge on top, and then Thassa and Consider as 4th and 3rd from the top, and then Jace. And then they have to not be able to remove our LED as well, but black typically doesn't like remove artifacts that often. Okay, let's see if they can deal me the extra 2 damage or remove my Lion's-Eye Diamond. Might as well have 6. I am Hellbent here, so nothing really to play around or mess with. That was a Verdant Catacombs, which probably was what they drew for turn, because last turn I think they flashed this in, right? Or no, was that? No, that was last turn. Excuse me. No, that was the turn before, right? Yeah, never mind. All right, let's see how this goes. Do you have Bowmasters or something else? I guess if they have like is it Shoulder's Edict that also makes a person sacrifice a Planeswalker, that would be kind of brutal. All right, they're doing something here. They're surveilling, and they put a bauble into their graveyard. Well, Jace is in our hand, and we activate Jace, target ourselves. That puts Edge of Autumn into our hand. So they do have green, so they could be sitting on Endurance plus green card, which would be a problem because then we lose to the Nethergorth. Oh, they had the Edict, the one I was just thinking about. Okay. Yeah, that doesn't beat Hellbent or like empty deck Thassa there, so that's a thing. Okay, I probably don't want the Grafdigger's Cages then. I might want like an Abrupt Decay and Personal Tutor number 2. Yeah, I think so. Maybe also the Lotus Petal, I don't know. I'll keep this. They mulligan to 6. Okay, so this hand really wants them to cast Discard and really doesn't want them to just like chain Nethergorths together. They're down to 5. Okay. Alright, let's just float the Misty. And if they don't discard us on turn 1, I might favor the Surveil. It's a Swamp and a Bauble. They are just passing here. Okay, I think I will Surveil then. Don't want Personal Tutor. Another land is really, really good. I'm going to Thoughtseize them. Okay, I'm going to take the Bowmasters, leave them with the Thoughtseize, which they didn't play, meaning they were playing around Veil of Summer. They have 2 unknowns now. There's a Wasteland, gross. Okay, got it. And we draw Edge of Autumn, which they knew we were going to draw. We pass. They're still refusing to play this Thoughtseize very diligently. done by them. Land. Come on, land. Now, I don't want to play this Brainstorm into a potential second Bowmasters. At least not yet. Okay. Dothy Voidwalker. I think I fetch... I think I fetched the Trop here. And they have their Voidwalker. And I'm going to take my draw here. I draw an island. Okay. I think I'll pass and try and win on the same turn. There was a world there where I put Brainstorm Doomsday back on top of my deck and then cycle and crack LED and cast Doomsday with no hand and one land in play, which doesn't seem that appealing, if I'm being honest. Another wasteland? Get out of here. I think we do we brainstorm? Yeah, I think we brainstorm. If they have the Bowmasters here, we can at least like do stuff. Third Veil, about to not have any green mana. That's lovely. Okay, I think I do cycle the edge here, which is not ideal. Let's float green. At least they did this on their second main. If they had done this on the first main, they would have been able to like Thoughtseize me in the second main. Now they have to wait a turn because I have... This is so terrible. What am I even hoping for here? Wait. Where'd that daze come from? I could have dazed my Brainstorm and paid for it to get my Trop in my hand. Yeah. Okay. Well. Oh, no, wait. Maybe I'm supposed to play out the LED. I passed. Oh, it's all really coming apart here. So they can Thoughtseize me now. I can Daze plus Fluster, which I think I am going to protect this Doomsday. I'm so far away from actually doing anything here because of those two Wastelands. Yeah, sometimes you lose to Wasteland. Oh, damn. Okay. Well done. They had the Dark Ritual as well. So now they get to take my Doomsday. Not that I was sort of winning anyways, but oh man, yeah. Yeah, this is a pretty visible cost of having a third color, is like having multiple third color cards stranded in your hand and getting just absolutely destroyed by two Wastelands. Okay. I draw a land, but it's like I've drawn the three, or I fetched one and then drew the two other lands in my deck that do not produce black mana. We want Daze, Brainstorm, I suppose. But we are running out of time pretty swiftly. And we also have to beat whatever's in their hand and on top of their deck. I don't have high hopes. My opponent played really well, just not like falling into the trap of firing off that Thoughtseize. I think a lot of more impatient players would have done so. Okay, let's cast Brainstorm. They might have found Bowmasters, put us out of our misery here. They did not, but I think I just lost, right? Because I can't cast this Personal Tutor right now, so I go down to 4. Then I draw and cast Personal Tutor, and I go down to 1. So, and even if they were to give me something to Veil of Summer next turn, it still doesn't change the cards in my hand because I'm putting 2 back with Brainstorm right now. So we are done. Yeah, that was unfortunate. I think in retrospect, there probably was no reason for me to be trying to win with Jace. I even talked about Sheoldred's Edict, and I should have thought a little bit longer about it and come to the conclusion that, this is in game 2 by the way, that there was no real like cost to playing and winning with Thassa. Like, they're not a blue deck, they didn't have Consign to Memory. If they had Disruptor Flute, they would have had to draw it on that one draw step. Yeah. Alright, too bad. Let's go for number 4. Alright, round 4 on the draw once more. That's 4 in a row, but again, gonna keep. This is one of the better hands I think we've had, because it has both cantrips, a Dark Ritual, and a Force of Will. And I think I just go land go here, honestly. There might be too many ways things go wrong if I lead with duress. Not go wrong, but daze is a card, then daze plus then wasteland is a little bit annoying. Plus they could brainstorm, and like duressing into a brainstorm turn one on the draw isn't the worst because sure they brainstorm, but that also makes their brainstorm worse. Oh, and we're up against sneak and show, almost certainly here, so I like where this hand is at. Gonna get Undercity Sewers, and don't think I want another cantrip here. Another Dark Ritual. Okay, I think I'm gonna brainstorm, and then probably duress. Okay, I'm gonna get rid of one of the Dark Rituals, and one land here. And then I'm gonna duress with double force backup. Alright, let's duress here. Let's see if they daze us here. Okay, so they have show and tell, sneak attack. This is a pretty strong hand. So I think I'm going to take the show and tell, and then I'll force of will the sneak attack. Alright, so they prioritize a brainstorm here, playing it slow. I'm worried about Mistrise Village, to be honest. And there's the Mistrise Village. I'm not going to force of will a ponder here. I'm not going to get desperate about it, but this is a problem, potentially. They shuffle their library. They do need another red mana and then another mana to make sneak attack uncounterable. Okay, I'm kind of flooding out on force of wills here. But there's Doomsday. Sweet. Think I am going to actually pass the turn here and then win on the same turn next turn. They would need so if they have another Ancient Tomb, we know that. And if they then have double Simian Spirit Guide or something, then we're in trouble. I guess they could also just drop a blue land if they found another show and tell, and then make show and tell uncounterable and cast sneak attack. But then they still need another red mana to activate it. Okay, well, they're making a spell uncounterable here. And it is a show and tell. So this will get Atraxa into play, I think. I'm not going to put anything in here. If they put in sneak attack, oh, I guess Omniscience, of course. Well, this we can counter. That was Atraxa. Okay, Atraxa was countered. Alright, well, let's see if we can resolve Doomsday. And I think I just cycled through and resolve Thassa with force backup. I guess I'll hide Jace on the bottom. No reason for them to see that card. That might be the one card they aren't aware of. Alright, cycle, cycle, cycle. So if they have double steep sink into stupor here, that's kind of wicked. But it looks like they don't. Alright, sweet. We got there. Alright, so I want my own Mistrise Village here. I want Veil of Summer. Probably want Carpet of Flowers. Flusterstorm. Subtlety is not nothing. Because Subtlety... Oh no, never mind. It says creature or planeswalker spell. I just thought it said spell for a second. That's that's Venser. Alright, Force of Negation, sure, but the picture has maybe changed a bit because they have Mistrise Village as well. I'm gonna board out a couple of Petals. Gonna board out a couple of Cyclers and a couple of Personal Tutors. And maybe we need to cut a land. But which land? They could very reasonably be a Blood Moon deck. But the question is if I can sort of afford to play around that. I'm gonna board out, I am gonna board out Basic Island. And Maybe like one preordain and one daze. Alright, I like this hand. I like it a lot. Think I will probably play out Carpet of Flowers here. Maybe not actually. Maybe this Force of Will means I'm supposed to keep up Force plus Veil. Okay, so no fetch land, but they have a lot of mana now. And if Mistrise Village is in their hand, then that's kind of troubling. Okay, I'm gonna play out the Carpet now. And then I'm gonna trigger it and make blue and cast Brainstorm. And alright, let's get rid of Underground Sea and Cavern of Souls, I guess. And I think we just pass. Alright, there's a Ponder, that's fine. Still no Mistrise Village, but it can come from out of nowhere next turn. They did not shuffle on that Ponder. Meanwhile, I'm going to get Undercity Sewers and look for a Doomsday. Suppose I'll take a Ponder. And I think I'm not going to trigger the Carpet quite yet. I'm going to Ponder first, see what we get. Another Ponder. I think I take this, and I am going to go to second main, and I'm going to trigger it for blue. And I think I'll probably fetch because I don't want to ponder into the same two cards I just saw. I'll get a Tropical Island. There is a Daze in the or a Force Will in the Thoughtseize. I guess I don't hate the Thoughtseize, but I'm also kind of not going places here. I guess I don't know. Like I can take a turn off, Thoughtseize, and then I'll draw a Polluted Delta, and then on the subsequent turn. But the more I think about that, the more I don't like it. I really do like the Thoughtseize, but oh, okay, we get another force. I could play the Thassa's Oracle here. I actually don't hate that. I'm gonna do that. I don't have a way to bounce her, but you can win with Jace. I don't want either of these two cards here. So I would have drawn Underground Sea and then Veil, or the other way around, I'm not sure. So we also have to remember on turn 1 where our opponent surveilled a Pyroblast into the graveyard, making me think they have at least a Pyroblast already. Let's not trigger this. Let's play the Mistrise Village and then play Brainstorm. Oh, there we go. There we go. So I guess we don't need the Veil, right? But yeah, what I was gonna say is, they probably have Pyroblast, right? But that means that they likely will be able to Pyroblast Jace once he is resolved. Once I plus him, that's something to keep in mind. So I think I get rid of Edge of Autumn and Street Wraith probably. And then we move to combat. If they somehow kill my Thassa, I would actually prefer that, but I don't see that happening here. So let's trigger this. We can make 2 black mana. And then we can make the Doomsday uncounterable, but that requires us tapping out. We could also cast Thoughtseize, but then we can't Force plus Veil. I do kind of like casting Thoughtseize here. We don't have to cast Doomsday this turn. And if we pass, then we get another turn, and we get another turn, and we draw a Cycler, Disruptor Flute. Do I care? Do I care? So they named Doomsday with this, and I have 4 mana right now. I have 6 mana, which is what it's going to require to cast Doomsday. But no, I think I actually I think I do care. So I'm gonna force this because I don't like having to tap out. That makes my Mistrise Village sort of not usable. Okay, so here we make Force of Will uncounterable. So Flute is countered. They could have a second Flute. That will cost them a pedal, which I'm sure they're happy to pay for. Okay, let's see here. They still can play right into this Veil if we're lucky. Flusterstorm. Okay, so they will need another Flusterstorm or a Spell Pierce or a Force of Will to not get blown out here. But they didn't have it, so now my Thoughtseize is uncounterable. So that, I think, exchange worked out fairly profitably. So for me, let's see here what they have. We can still just like lose to them having, yeah, having their stuff here. I think I have to take Emrakul and just like really hope they don't draw a creature next turn. Ooh. Ponder, find creature, go sneak attack, or show and tell, sneak attack. They don't shuffle. Oh no. I mean, if they have Emrakul, I'm just dead. If they found another Emrakul. Do I put in Street Wraith? No, because like the only reason to do that would be to have something to sacrifice to the Annihilator trigger, but I'm at 15 life, so. Okay, what did you find? Okay, okay, it's an Atraxa. They find Lotus Petal and another Atraxa. Lucky for us, that's not Emrakul. But hang on, they have not made a land drop, I don't think. So, yeah, another Atraxa is another, like, big low-get Emrakul. Okay, what did they pick? They chose Sneak Attack, Lotus Petal, Ponder, Consign a Memory. Okay. I'm just going to look out if they find another creature here. They don't find another creature, so that's fortunate. They find Force of Will. Alright, well, this will be interesting. Lotus Petal. They chose Mistrise Village, Force of Will, and Stock Up. Okay. I draw Edge of Autumn here. I think I do make black mana here. And then I make the next spell uncounterable. And so I cast Doomsday. I drop to 4. So I could like put Carpet of Flowers on top and then like cast Carpet, trigger it. But that probably is not going to work out. Could go for a Duress here. We certainly need Jace. Probably, I don't know, like Consider might be good. They probably Force of Will the Duress. Yeah, I have no way to get rid of the sneak attack, which is causing me the problems here. And what did they reveal and keep? They kept up. So they have a Ponder. They also have Consign to Memory, which we don't really care about. I'll be at 4. I'll cycle down to 2. If they play like Simian Spirit Guide, I guess I can choose not to attack with my Thassa. Storm, maybe. How much mana am I gonna have next turn? Like, I'm gonna have 3 from them, and then like another 3 blue. That's 6 blue plus a black. But I'm gonna have to use 2 of the blue to make Jace uncounterable. I'm gonna try this, and so I kind of want to cycle Street Wraith into Consider away Flusterstorm, draw Duress. So what would that make? That would make, yeah, I think I like that. So we want Brainstorm on the bottom with Jace on top. And then like this. But then what happens if they force of will the consider? I still think that's okay. We have two cyclers. Let's dress here. They do force of will pitching the ponder. I think that means that they are hoping to win with what do you call it? With consign to memory. Okay, something's being made uncounterable. I mean, any creature here, obviously, they just have us, so. Oh, okay, stock up, right. They had that card. Scary. Creature in the top 5 cards. We're dead. Boo! They found it. Alright. On to the final game. I think I'm pretty happy with this, honestly. So let's just go ahead. They are able to play somewhat comfortably around a carpet of flowers. They don't have to play out a lot of islands between Mistrise Village, Soul Lands, and probably Basic Mountain. But I still think it's worth having it in. This is a mulligan, unfortunately. Yeah, we'll keep this and bottom a Dark Ritual. Opponent is on 7, and I'm not going to be playing around Blood Moon here, although that still is a card I am painfully aware of might be in their deck. Let's cast Ponder. Yeah, lands seem good. I think I'm going to try and bait out a Pyroblast here by not playing my land. No dice. Yeah. Let's cast another Ponder, I guess. Doomsday and Force of Negation. Yes, please. There's 3 mana. I'm not gonna play Doomsday into all this open mana and cards in hand without any protection. Ugh. Well, that wasn't the best. Let's get rid of the Dark Ritual for now, and we'll play this carpet. And I think I'll pass, and I'm gonna choose not to trigger this. Yeah, I'm really not comfortable with my position right now. It feels like they probably have like 1 Force of Will effect and 1 Pyroblast, or maybe we saw Flusterstorm last game. So right now I feel like we're really just waiting on me finding good disruption, and I think they're going to find their combo before then. But we shall see. The top of my deck is a Dark Ritual and then I think an Underground Sea. So I could like draw the Dark Ritual and then cast Consider on the Underground Sea. I could also like trigger Carpet and then have Doomsday plus Hardcast Force of Negation as backup. But I think they just need like they're gonna have two pieces of disruption here, would be my guess. There's a Petal. Mistrise Village can make Show and Tell uncounterable. I think I will cast this Consider right now. Put Underground Sea into the graveyard and draw Thassa's Oracle. Gross. I'm not going to trigger it. No. I'll cycle the Street Wraith. Veil of Summer. Okay. I think I might. So what happens here, this makes 2 black, becomes 4 black. And I have... No. No, I think I'm going to wait. I think I need 1 more mana to have Veil of Summer plus Force of Negation plus Doomsday on the same turn. But let's see here. They're making something uncounterable. Yep, there's a sneak attack. Can't counter it. And an activation. And there's a Traxa. Let's see what they reveal. They reveal an Emrakul, but no Lotus Petal, and they have made their land drop. So their hand was 3 cards we don't know about, and then it's about to be several more. But they, yeah, like I said, made their land drop, no Lotus Petal. So unless they have their 4th Lotus Petal in hand or a Simian Spirit Guide, we will be allowed a turn here, which probably is going to be all we need. So they took Stock Up, Scalding Tarn, Consign to Memory, and a Traxa. Would like something good here. Flusterstorm is not it. I mean, I think I'm just dead. I would need them I would need them to like cast a force effect here on the Doomsday in order for me to Veil of Summer into a cantrip or a cycler. Please have force. Yes, okay. Force pitch, stock up. Come on, Veil of Summer, deliver. Yes! That's so sick. That was very fortunate for us. Alright, so we we have 3 floating mana here, so, and our spells can't be countered. So why don't I just, we'll be at 4 life. So if I go Jace and Lineside Diamond and a cycler and like another cycler and the Street Wraith, I guess. So we brainstorm into Edge, Jace, LED, put back like Thassa and Jace, and then we cycle Edge into Jace, blah blah blah, and win. Sweet. We'll put Street Wraith on the bottom and then consider, and then, oops, these couple of cards here. Let's put back Thassa and Jace, I guess. Cycle the Edge of Autumn. We draw Jace. And we cycle and win. Woof! That was very close. Yay, we're on the play for the final round. Alright. And we get a kind of a weird hand, but I'm going to keep. I'm just going to lead on Undercity Sewers. And yeah, I'll take a Brainstorm. Basic Island. Lotus Petal, so very fair into suddenly clearly not fair. I hope it's not someone playing with Orcish Bowmasters. It was not. Alright, let's put back Jace and I think Preordain. And then I'm going to fetch. I think I'm going to play out my Lotus Petal actually. Just in case we're up against a Dazed Gamer. I want to be able to resolve this personal tutor. There's Doomsday. Let's pass. Scalding Tarn. Beginning to think this is quite possibly another show and tell deck. They did not shuffle. Alright, I'm not going to play out the Doomsday. I'm going to look for these cards exactly. And I think I risk it here and pass. It's certainly quite risky. They could combo us off now, and maybe if we had Thoughtseize them, that wouldn't be the case. But, alright, here comes a sneak attack. I think I daze that. If they have a Spirit Guide, they can pay, but then that's an activation they don't get. Ooh, it just got dazed. Alright, well, let's see. So I can go Thoughtseize and then Dark Ritual, Doomsday, Cycle Street Wraith, and keep Underground Sea on top of my, or in my hand as the Brainstorm card. Or I can just like cycle into a bunch of stuff here. And then Misdirection. Holy cannoli. Wow, that's a thing of beauty. Well, I guess that happened. I still control the Thoughtseize, which means I'm going to take... Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay. I'm going to take the Street Wraith. And then I'm going to cast Doomsday, I guess. They pitched in Traxa for that. Let's hope they don't have another force here. They do. Wow, okay. Right. The game is on. We are sort of equal in resources depending on, you know, now they're up a card. Preordain, okay, that's nice. I think that's a bottom. Dark Ritual, not exactly exciting. Lotus Petal, so representing hardcast force. I did find a Doomsday. So I am going to put that on the stack. If they have force, then, you know, They have force. They didn't. Okay. Let's how do we want to do this? There is a world where we get Jace as well in this. How about if we get like so we draw Jace, we play him, we plus ourselves, putting Thassa and Cavern into the graveyard, and then having like double cycler. And then if they have a counterspell for Jace, then we have Thassa coming. Yeah, let's try that. Okay, so they didn't have Force of Will just now. Are they playing Mystic Sanctuary? Okay. They're not. They put an Ancient Tomb into the graveyard. And they're passing. Okay. Well, let's see if Jace gets to do Jace things. Jace is in. And I think I just pass here. I don't think it matters, but there is no sort of impetus for us to make the first move. Okay, but now there is. All right, we take game one. Let's see if I can remember how we boarded last go around. So these come in, and the Mistrise Villages, and the Flusterstorm, probably Force of Negation. And then we kind of cut down on the turbo elements here. Probably cut the last personal tutor as well. That's 18 blue cards plus 3, so 21. That's fine. And yeah, I think I cut the basic island as well. Like 19 lands is just a smidge too many. Okay, I'll keep this hand. My opponent is on a mulligan. Blood Moon is a card that would probably do pretty well against me. Let's play out this Undercity Sewers. Yes. Another land, a fetch land, is exactly what we need. They put Force of Will in the graveyard, that's interesting. There is Mistrise Village, so now they can make Force of Will uncounterable. Let's start out with a Brainstorm. Okay, we can get rid of one Dark Ritual and Cavern of Souls, and then I am going to get Bayou here and cast Thoughtseize. So next turn they can play Sneak Attack, but they can't make it uncounterable. I think I'm just going to take the Force of Will here. And we can work out what we need to work out. They just go for the Sneak Attack. That's fine. I think I'll just untap and win then. Unless they drew exactly another Force of Will, but I draw a Thoughtseize, so I just get to check for that. Sometimes magic is cruel. Let's take the Atraxa Grand Unifier and win. Cast Doomsday. We want LED, the other Cycler, and Thassa's Oracle to consider. And then because we already have the Cycler in hand, we get to put in a blank. I guess we can make that a Daze. Why not? It doesn't matter, we're not really going to be able to utilize it very much, but for a brief moment. Okay. So we put Thassa on the bottom with Edge of Autumn on top. And then the order of the last 3 cards does not matter here. We go for a Brainstorm. Put back Force of Will and Consider. This is where I meant like the marginal advantage of putting Daze in, which is if our opponent actually had something. Then for like putting LED on the stack here, we would be able to interact with Daze just now, but not anymore because we cycle and sack LED. And consider away the Force of Will, draw the Edge of Autumn, cycle that, and Thassa ends the game. Alright. And we get a positive record, 3-2. Alright, so what did I think about this list? I still like it. I like the main deck a lot. I generally like Veil of Summer at the moment, and Carved of Flowers is pretty good. I'm not really sure about the Mistrise Villages. I think maybe if we want to play them, we would also want something like the One Ring. I don't know. I mean, I think the one time I actually used the Mistrise Village was in a game that I ultimately lost, but it was pretty tight. It was against the first sneak and show opponent. And I think it was good there, but I just ultimately didn't end up winning me the game. Um, but yeah, I'm not sure. I'm kind of lukewarm currently on Mistrise Village in Doomsday, but then again, if we didn't play against any of the decks where I really wanted it, like against something like I don't know, like five color beans, like slow control decks without wasteland. Um, there I can see it being just pretty amazing, and like we also got to taste it versus the Omni or the Sneak and Show opponent in one game where it was like, yeah, I mean, I think like this is just me maybe going off on a slight tangent, but I do think that cards like this is not something I'm a fan of. They're I think they're detrimental um to good gameplay experience. It's kind of the same with Cavern of Souls. Um, like the classic way Magic the Gathering has people interacting is like with counterspells as one of the main things, right? You can like that or not like it, but and having these effects that kind of blank cards in your hand, that's at least how it feels like to me. And I know you could just say, well, okay, so you're supposed to then interact on other axes and have Venser or some other types of effects that bounce spells from the stack or whatever. But I think I like where Magic is at when counter spells matter, that kind of thing. But okay, that's enough. I'll get off my soapbox. I don't want to tell anyone else how to have fun. So that's just my personal opinion. All right, thanks so much for watching, everyone. I'll be back with some more Legacy. Bye bye.